Rightio, now we're going to get funky. We're going to create another part of the crypt, but this crypt will have a slightly different shape. Yes, it will fit into this section, but it will also be more, we'll have some rounded corners on it, and it will be more temple-like. It's also going to have a little secret entrance off to the side. So we'll start by going New, Dungeons, pick a predefined template, use our annual battle tiles. Excellent. I'm going to switch on the guides for a 20-foot connection and a 5-foot connection. By doing this, we can actually see we've got little blue areas here in the definitions. I'll just bring this up so you can see it. You can see that we've got the larger definition for the 20-foot, but you can also see in a different color the 5-foot connector. So we're going to have the hallway, the crypt come in from these sides, and then there's going to be a little secret entrance here. We're going to put curved corners here, 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 and here. So quite a different looking room. Because we're going to be drawing quite a custom size room, we're not going to be able to use the standard drawing floor tools here. Instead, we're going to draw the floor by hand. We'll start by selecting the right layer for drawing our floors, and I'm going to make it, in this instance, I'm just going to make it floors. Rather than hiding it, I'll mark it here as the selected layer. I'm also going to lock in place the background, and I'm going to lock in place the hex grid and hide it. The reason for that is I want a nice clean work area that I'm not going to get interfered with as I move through this. Now let's draw our odd-shaped room. I'm going to start by selecting a nice color. I'm going to make it bright red so it's easy for me to separate from the rest of the drawing. I'm going to start by using the path tool. I'm going to click on it, left click on it, and we'll start our line here, come up, along, and down. That's enough of our line for this purpose. We're now going to use the arc tool. Now there's a wonderful thing with Campaign Cartographer, which is when you left click on a button you get the default setting, but if you right click it can actually draw up a context sensitive menu. Now unfortunately I'm just going to have to move this in so that you can actually see this menu in my viewer. Right click, start, end, and bulge is the type of curve I want. So we're going to put the first point will be here, second point will be there, so first point there, second point there, and we'll bulge it out that far. So you can see the room's going to come in and have a strange little alcove shape there. While we're using this tool, rather than having to go back and reselect that menu item, we can just right click to start the process. First point, second point, and bulge. Right, start the process, bulge. Click to start the process, first point, second point, bulge. Excellent. We'll now draw lines in between these. You can now see that we've got a rather unusual sized room. I'm also going to put in place in here a cutout section which is going to be a circle. Done. Okay, we're getting there. Great, now we have all of the lines where we want our floor to go. We need to now take a copy of all of this, certainly all of the outside area, because trying to draw a wall around this is going to be just as difficult as we've just gone through. In order to do this, we're going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to use the copy function of these lines. Now when we did this, if you noticed, we copied too many elements. We copied other lines that weren't really part of this floor. One of the reasons why I used the color red, color 2, was that we can combine with the pretty much any selection tool a color selector. So I've already marked all of this. I've got 15 entries selected. I'm going to right click and I'm going to go combine and right click, color, right click is 2. You can now see that only 11 entries have been selected. A whole bunch of stuff is now unselected. Only the red lines have been selected. Right click, do it. I'm going to grab the middle and I'm going to move it over here. Rightio, so what we're going to do is we're going to take these lines and turn them into walls. To do this, we're going to click on the select entities, sorry, the change properties button. Then I'm going to select all of those lines there, right click, do it. We're going to change the line width to half a foot. The fill style is solid. The line style is solid. The fill style should be wall cobble brown. Click on OK. Voila, our walls are made for us. Now, to create the actual floor, we're going to do something similar, but instead of using the change properties button, we're going to use the multi-poly tool to turn all of this into a floor area. So click on the multi-poly tool, mark all the lines that you want. Again, you can see that we've got too many entries there. So what we're going to do is go right click, combine, and right click, color, right click is 2, OK. You can now see that we've got 11 entries, which is the 10 entries for the wall plus the middle area there. Right click, do it, and there's our shape. Again, it's changed its settings to be solid and bright red, so we will go change properties, selected by the corner there. We've just got the one floor entry selected. Right click, do it, and change the fill style to be stonework, I think it was stonework cobble bitmap. There we go. Wonderful. All we now need to do is use the move tool to move this, all of this, make sure that we've got all 10 entities selected, to move it back in place. Now I'm going to move it by positioning my mouse in the center, left click, and then position that in the center there so that the walls line up correctly. Oops, we forgot to do one thing when I did that. If you notice the floor, this floor is now sitting over the top of the walls. The reason for that is our walls are actually on the floors sheet. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to undo that move, edit, undo, come out again, and I'm just going to change the sheet that these are on. So I'm going to click change properties, select all of my walls here, make sure that I've got the full 10 selected, right click, do it, and I'm going to say the sheets is not the floors, the sheets are the walls. Fantastic. Just one more thing, we probably don't need these edge walls here, so I'm just going to delete those too, because if you think about it, there's not a wall in between these areas here. So there we go. We can probably remove those two pieces of wall as well. There we go. Now, let's take this and drop it back into place. Move, tool function, make sure we select all of the 6 entries, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 entries, do it, take it from the middle point, drop it into the middle point. Now the wall is in the correct place. All that we need to do now is add this little bit of wall left over. So I'm going to right click, cobblestone out to the wall there. Fantastic.